10 WWE wrestlers everyone hated working with in real life. Although Shawn Michaels is now considered one of the greatest wrestlers of all time and is widely respected as one of the most humble and genuine figures in the industry, this wasn't always the case. In the 1990s, his backstage behavior painted a much less flattering picture. Known for his unparalleled in-ring talent, Michaels wielded his influence as part of the notorious Clique to manipulate storylines and maintain his dominance. Fellow wrestlers often found themselves sidelined or frustrated, as Michaels unapologetically prioritized his own career over the collective good. One infamous incident involved him threatening to refuse to perform at WrestleMania unless the match outcome suited him, showcasing the extent of his backstage power play. Adding to the chaos, Michaels' confrontational nature made him a polarizing figure in the locker room. From heated arguments with management to outright refusal to cooperate with certain peers, his actions left a trail of animosity. For many, his arrogance wasn't just about securing his position, but the sheer audacity with which he operated, leaving colleagues walking on eggshells. CM Punk has never shied away from controversy, and his outspoken nature has often crossed into what many perceive as arrogance. Known for his biting promos and refusal to mince words, Punk has repeatedly burned bridges with management and peers alike. His public grievances with WWE during his departure included calling out the company's medical staff and airing behind-the-scenes disputes, leaving him with a reputation as difficult and divisive. Punk's return to wrestling in AEW didn't fare much better, as reports of backstage altercations and confrontations with fellow wrestlers surfaced. One notable incident involved a scuffle with the Elite, where tensions boiled over into public view. His confidence, often seen as a breath of fresh air by fans, alienated those who worked with him, making Punk one of the most polarizing figures in wrestling today. Were you Team Punk or Team Elite during that infamous fallout? Let us know. John Cena's clean-cut, all-American image hid a backstage persona that many wrestlers found overbearing. Accusations of Cena using his influence to hold back rising stars, including Alex Riley and Wade Barrett, have been a recurring theme. One of the most infamous stories involves Cena allegedly convincing management to change storylines that would have seen him lose to younger talent. His refusal to turn heel despite widespread fan demand was another point of contention. Cena's reasoning often boiled down to his belief that his character was essential for WWE's business model, a justification that critics viewed as ego-driven. While his accomplishments are undeniable, these behind-the-scenes stories paint a picture of someone fiercely protective of his spot at the top. If Cena had turned heel, how do you think it would have changed his career? Brock Lesnar's dominance in the ring is undeniable, but his off-screen behavior has often been described as cold and detached, bordering on arrogance. Lesnar famously dislikes socializing with fans, reportedly refusing to sign autographs or take photos even in controlled environments. His disdain for travel and the wrestling lifestyle has led him to negotiate some of the most lucrative part-time contracts in WWE history, a move that alienated full-time wrestlers who felt he was receiving special treatment. Lesnar's insistence on creative control has also sparked controversy. Stories of him outright rejecting proposed match outcomes have circulated, with some opponents feeling disrespected by his lack of willingness to collaborate. One of the most talked about examples was his infamous 86-second match with Kofi Kingston, where many believed Lesnar's arrogance overshadowed an opportunity to create a more meaningful storyline. Do you think Lesnar's arrogance is justified by his star power? Drop your thoughts below. Bill Goldberg's rise to fame was marked by an unwillingness to adapt or compromise, which many interpreted as arrogance. Known for his stiff wrestling style, Goldberg's matches often left opponents battered and bruised, with some accusing him of being careless in the ring. Bret Hart's career-ending concussion at the hands of Goldberg is one of the most cited examples of his recklessness. Backstage, Goldberg's insistence on being presented as an unstoppable force frustrated many of his peers. Stories of him walking into locker rooms with a chip on his shoulder and refusing to engage with others added to his reputation. Fans who idolized his intensity in the ring were often unaware of the animosity he generated behind the scenes. Are you a Goldberg fan, or do you think his arrogance overshadowed his career? Hulk Hogan, the face of professional wrestling during its golden era, was notorious for his backstage politics and larger-than-life ego. Wrestlers like Randy Savage and Bret Hart have accused Hogan of using his clout to bury competitors and stay perpetually in the spotlight. One of the most infamous examples was Hogan's refusal to put over younger talent, even when it was clear that the business needed fresh faces. Wrestlers would frequently complain about Hogan vetoing storylines or altering match results to ensure his dominance. Hogan's self-promotion didn't stop in the ring. His interviews and public appearances often exaggerated his accomplishments, sometimes straying into outright falsehoods. One claim involved Hogan asserting he was offered the bass player position for Metallica, a story debunked by the band itself. Fans who adored him for his charisma began to notice the stark contrast between his heroic persona on screen and the egotistical control he exercised behind the scenes. Randy Orton's early years in WWE were marked by a sense of entitlement that stemmed from his family's wrestling legacy. Known for his juvenile antics, Orton reportedly vandalized hotel rooms and disrespected veterans, earning him the ire of his colleagues. His cocky attitude often translated into backstage incidents, including infamous confrontations where he openly dismissed advice from seasoned performers. One of the most shocking stories involved Orton leaving a message on a colleague's voicemail that many considered highly offensive, further cementing his reputation as arrogant and immature. His antics weren't limited to pranks. He also reportedly refused to lose matches to certain opponents, viewing them as beneath him. This behavior painted Orton as someone who prioritized his own ego over the collective success of the locker room. Do you think Orton's legacy has outgrown his early arrogance? Triple H's rise to power in WWE came with accusations of self-serving arrogance, as his involvement with the Clique gave him significant backstage influence. Wrestlers accused him of using his position to bury opponents or ensure that he remained in prominent storylines. One of the most cited examples is Triple H's reluctance to let Booker T win at WrestleMania 19, a decision that left fans and peers questioning his motivations. His marriage to Stephanie McMahon only fueled perceptions that he was consolidating power for personal gain. While he presented himself as a team player, whispers of his backstage politicking became so prevalent that they overshadowed his in-ring achievements. Stories of younger talent being told they weren't ready to face Triple H added to the narrative of a wrestler who placed his career above all else. What's your take on Triple H's backstage influence? Arrogance or savvy business acumen? The Ultimate Warrior's backstage antics were as colorful as his on-screen persona. Frequently at odds with management, Warrior was notorious for making outrageous demands, including holding Vince McMahon hostage over money hours before a major pay-per-view. His insistence on being treated as the top star, regardless of his declining popularity, alienated both colleagues and fans. Wrestlers often described Warrior as someone who refused to cooperate or compromise, making him one of the most difficult individuals to work with. From no-showing events to refusing to lose matches, his behavior set a precedent for arrogance that few have matched. Even as fans chanted his name, those behind the scenes knew the chaos he brought with him. What's your most memorable Ultimate Warrior moment? Love him or hate him? When The Miz first entered WWE, his brash personality and reality TV background rubbed many the wrong way. Locker room veterans viewed him as an outsider who hadn't paid his dues, and Miz's confident demeanor didn't help. One infamous incident involved Miz being kicked out of the locker room for months after accidentally spilling chicken crumbs on a colleague's bag, a punishment many felt was exaggerated due to his perceived arrogance. Despite the hazing, Miz's cockiness often matched his ability to back it up on the mic and in the ring. He openly declared himself a future WWE champion long before he had the resume to prove it, a move that alienated peers but intrigued fans. His early career was defined by his ability to turn arrogance into an undeniable presence, even when it meant stepping on a few toes. Do you think Miz's confidence was the key to his success, or did it make his journey harder? Despite being highly criticized earlier in their careers, many of these wrestlers have worked on their attitude and gone on to become some of the most respected and beloved figures in WWE history. If you're curious about wrestlers who destroyed their family legacies, click the video on the left. Or if you want to learn about the divas who joined OnlyFans, click the video on the right. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more amazing content. See you soon.